Hey, I'm Todd. Thanks for choosing to watch my video, and if you would subscribe it, like it, all that stuff, that'd be great. Otherwise, enjoy the video, and I hope it gives you the information you need and is helpful to you. Take care. So I do get a lot of comments with people saying I have saved them a lot of money, and I do get questions, hey, can I send you some money somehow? And now there is a way, if you so choose, called fan funding. You'll find it on the channel page right there. 2007 RX350 water pump replacement. We've got cover just pops off. It's friction fits. Fits on these little knobbies. That's all. Pull it off. Got 12 and 14 millimeter bolts and brackets. Bracket here, bracket here. Just like this. 12 millimeter bolts here, 14 millimeter here. Basically like that. Get this out of the way, pull it out. Small bracket here, from here, back here. 10 millimeter bolt here, 10 millimeter bolt here. Undo the ground strap here, just right there. Just pull these little tabs up. Get that out of the way a little bit. Oh, look at that. Spark tester. And 14 millimeter bolts are next right here. Get this bracket assembly off. Got the wheel off. 5 21 millimeter lug nuts. Break them loose on the ground and jack up your vehicle. And then you can take the tire off the rest of the way. Or you can just turn the wheel all the way to the right so you can get access in here. 2 10 millimeter bolts here. And there could be a third one too. Back there somewhere, or a push pin. I didn't have one. Let's find my cover. Huh? Is the cover actually gone? I think the cover's gone, but 10 millimeter bolt. 2 of them there. Looks like, my guess, probably. Water pump pulley. 4 12 millimeter bolts. Try and break those loose while the belt is still on. And here's the tension right over here. Just a 14 millimeter wrench, I think, on there, and pull it counterclockwise. Yep. Just like this. Put a pin in there to hold it in place to take the belt off easier. So 4 12 millimeter bolts broken off the water pump, and go ahead and loosen it up. This doesn't want to come out, but then there's a 14 millimeter bolt holding the pulley on here. 14 millimeter bolt. I was having difficulty getting to this last bolt on the mount right there, so I got it from below. Yeah, kind of screwed myself by taking this bolt out first. Maybe leave this bolt in first, and then do that one first from up above. Then you might be able to get it, but I didn't have the swinging arc access really, so. Kind of up to you, but there we go. This is loose. I'm just gonna try and pull it out here now. Hopefully I have enough slack here in this. There we go. And get those, weasel those bolts through all this mess down here. All right, taking off I think 17mm bolts here. And there's little plastic covers, just pop them off right here. We'll probably need to jack up the engine on the oil pan right here. 3 bolts out here, 17mm, 2 bolts here, again a couple plugs, 14mm nuts for that engine mount. Even one over here. This engine mount has got 3 14mm nuts as well. Again, plugs as needed. You can see the bracket. So, all the engine mounts are out. We should be able to jack this up a little bit and get that mount bracket out of there. So yes, we've jacked up the engine probably about 3 inches or so. Rolled that bolt on top of this AC bracket. It should come out here pretty easy then, assuming. Boom. That's all you gotta do. There we go. Whew. We'll need to take this stuff off right here because the water pump, I believe, is actually underneath the thermostat housing assembly. So the clamp here, there's just an O-ring probably in here. $10mm bolts. One down here, one here. Clamp here if you want to do that too.
You do it?
I won. Just use the pliers and collapse these clamps, slid it actually onto this pipe. Use a screwdriver or a pick and try to work this hose off. Same with the one back there. Got the clamp slid off and I gotta work that hose off. And it's loose. 2 bolts here, one down there, and there's a stud over here. 2 bolts and a stud nut, 10mm. It's loose. It's just kind of stuck on right here where that there's an O-ring going to be on there. So I got to work that hose loose, and we can probably just pull this off once I get those hoses loose from the piping. So it came out. There's a hole for the O-ring. You see the thermostat in there. You certainly probably want to replace that while you're doing all this work. 2 10mm nuts to take it off and replace it. Not sure if that needs to come out. Looks like that stud is actually preventing it from coming out, but it might just come out with the water pump. So remove this pulley here, 14mm bolt. Get that out of there, and probably maybe have to get that tensioner out of there too. We'll see. Then looks like a bunch of 10 and maybe a couple 12mm bolts for the water pump assembly. So we got the tensioner pulley as we showed before, locked in place with a pin. Turn this bolt to the right, clockwise to break it loose. A little counterintuitive maybe, but boom, it's out. The threads are kind of reversed. That's what that's all about. So get that off. Get access. Ooh, man, we can. Whew. That bolt's behind that thing there, so perhaps I messed up. I need to pull that pin so I can get that 12mm bolt out of there. So anyway, learn from my mistake. Don't pin it. Don't pin it. Don't leave it pinned. You know, take the belt off and then you can probably take that pin off and it'll rock back so we can get to that 12mm bolt. Water pump's basically out. Can probably take it up through the top is my guess. So as you see, the water pump is out, and I just want to maybe wipe down this surface here where the new gasket will go on the engine. Old gasket, old water pump. Got an O-ring in here for your thermostat housing. New water pump, new gasket kit, a couple O-rings there. O-ring for the pipe, O-ring for the thermostat housing. So we should be all set here. That is removing your water pump, and now we'll just put the new gasket on after we wipe it down. Put the water pump on and we'll bolt it up very soon. Alright, put the water pump back in. This bolt here and that bolt there. I'm going to put some silicone sealant on those two bolts right there, it says in the instructions, so let's go ahead and do that. Already did. And the big bolts, when you got the big bolts in the water pump, those are 15 foot-pounds, and the little baby bolts, the 10 millimeter bolts, those are 81 inch-pounds. So there's your torque spec on the water pump bolts. Pulled out the old thermostat, got the new thermostat in. Gasket new, has a little groove in it, you can stick the thermostat in it. And it gets this little dingleberry something right there. It's a bleeder, I believe, for letting air and coolant flow through a little bit. So make sure that's at the top, not at the bottom or on the side. Just put it at the top. It'll be good. And throw this back on. Two 10 millimeter nuts. It's probably the same as those bolts. Little bolts, 81, 89 inch-pounds would be plenty tight, I'm sure. Clean this up a little bit, maybe. You need to. Preparing for this gasket, which will go on the water pump. So there you go, thermostat. We'll go a little bit of grease, maybe on here or on the O-ring, help it go on easier. Got the new ring already installed on the pipe. Doing everything with the engine jacked up in its higher position. 15 foot-pounds for these bolts, and it's probably okay to use a large channel locks if you've got them to block the pulley while you tighten those up. Otherwise, there's a couple holes here, and they make special tools for holding pulleys. You can certainly rent by that tool as well. There's actually a tool too that will lock on two of the bolt heads and allow you to tighten the other ones. So several options, but those are 15 foot-pounds. Pretty much continue reverse procedure to install. If there's any other tips, I'll let you know. Looks like there's definitely a bleeder hole here. Screw open this up while you're filling the coolant over there in the radiator. So the Toyota came with super long life, antifreeze, do not add water, do not dilute. So I believe we got a couple bleeder screws open right here. Open this up. Also down here, 10 millimeter. Give that a turn or two. Let the air out. And we'll just start adding coolant here and until it starts coming out. Clean antifreeze there and out here, I believe. Or at least when we get it out of here, we can tighten that one up, and then we'll wait for coolant to come out of this one as well.
It's not Austin's day, so I gotta have one of yours as well.
Fair is fair.
Yep. I'm an equal intruder. Equal opportunity intruder. Slapping your head, the drawer's not gonna fix this, Austin.
We're pretty close to full. We'll start it up and run it. Let's go ahead and put the temperature up on the high spot here. Somehow, some way. Turn on auto, I guess. Temperature up, high, fan, off, on. Boom. There we go. And after about 5 minutes or less, we should start feeling some heat out of here. Keep an eye on your temperature gauge. Get some good heat out of here. Go ahead and drive it. 5 or 6 miles, we want it to get up to operating temperature. Got the coolant overflow here. Got a full mark right there. Top that off there. We're going to rinse this off. We got our covers here to put back on. Going to line them up on those little pins. Just going to push down and snap into place. This piece here. These pins actually work by pushing the center in to release it. So when you want to release it and take this apart, you got to push the center in to make it release. That should be just about everything you need to know about your thermostat, your water pump replacement on your Toyota RAV4. ...2007 model year. Let it cool off for a couple hours when you're done with your test drive, and double check your coolant level here and the overflow. You'll be done. And then you can reinstall the pins. Supposedly. Just like that.